Good evening. Welcome back to the campground. The Gamma Force. Hi there. I'm Greenie Trainee. Welcome to my camper. And so tonight in Greenie's camper cooking, we're gonna make some bean soup. This is cold. It's wintertime out here, and it's always nice to be able to make something that's pretty easy, and that's what we're gonna do. Um, let's go ahead and get started. We're doing a bean soup. You can do any kind of beans you'd like to. You can do kidney beans, navy beans, cannellini beans, all sorts of different kinds, pinto beans, black-eyed peas, even if you'd like to. We're going to go through all of that as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we need to start with an onion. So what we're doing basically is I'm starting what's going to go inside the soup first before the beans. I chose dried beans for this. I've actually already had them soaking. Typically, if you're drying beans, you want to have them soaked for at least overnight. 24 hours is even better, but canned beans will work just fine. Just get a can of whatever types of beans you want, drain them really nicely, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and get that thing's going. There's so many different ways you can make bean soup like this, but we're doing Greenie's way, I suppose. Eventually, I will have also set up a compost setup, but I'm still pretty new into this camper, so nothing yet. But that's okay. What I'm pretty much going to be doing first to start is we're going to kind of cook the onion a little bit. We want this onion to be a little softer, even though it's going to cook for quite a while as the soup. That open and ready to go for that. Now you can cut them a little finer. I said actually in the last video when I did my tuna pasta bake that I like my onion a little bit coarser with certain things. And this is another one of those things. I'm kind of cutting decently, but not anything great. We're kind of going for a quick and easy version of this soup. Not getting too terribly crazy into it. But there will be a few little things that are kind of maybe you've never tried before or done before. And we will see how that goes for you. Now, one thing that you also got to remember is, this is camper cooking. Not a whole lot of space going on. Hence why I've got my cutting board here. It actually fits over my sink, makes plenty of space. So it's kind of a nice idea to do. We're going to go ahead and get these onions started a little bit. So let's go ahead and throw a little oil into the pot. Okay. This one. I'm going to go about nice little medium heat for now. We're just kind of letting that cook off a little bit. We're going to add some more stuff to it just now. Love garlic, so. That was about a clove minced up. Actually, we're going to wait on that. I'm also going to get a little spice in there. We got some jalapenos. Nice jalapenos. They're not on steaks, but, Now you can use any other kind of vegetables that you'd prefer if you'd like. You can use peas in there. You can use celery. You can use carrots. Zucchini is another good one that would go very well in this. Just kind of cut them up into small chunks. Probably, well, there. And yes, I just made you look. So let's go ahead. Now, I like a little heat, but if you don't and you want to use peppers like this, go ahead and de-seed it. You can just take a spoon and scrape that right out, but we're going to get some heat in there, so. Get a little stir action going as it starts to warm up. Also, it's always nice when you do that because it kind of breaks up the onion if it's not already mixed pretty well, because they'll tend to clump up. This way, at least, it all gets evenly coated with the oil. It's also cooking a little more evenly. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. Come springtime, we're going to have lots of peppers, hopefully. I'm going to be starting a garden out here, which would be nice. I've already got some. What's this? This is cayennes right here. I've got some more with jalapenos and other stuff in the other room. Okay. All right, I can hear it starting to sizzle. This is a handy dandy little device. If you have a blender, you can use that as well if you want to do this kind of idea. But again, camper cooking, you're not going to have necessarily all of your appliances just because of limited space. So let me go ahead and get a little stir going. Another option, instead of doing what I'm getting ready to do, is you can actually just use like a can of tomato soup, or there's some companies out there. Rotel is one that does like a diced tomatoes and peppers and things like that. You can use one of those. I chose to go the tomato route. What I'm actually doing here is we're going to chunk them up real nice. This is like a hand blender, and as you saw, every bit of that folds up into this thing. This is actually Tupperware. Really neat device. Guys, this is something that I've years and years of being in a restaurant. Don't just throw the top away. You can always just cut off the bits like that. Look at all that. You still got all this other stuff left. I really don't have to cut them quite as much as I dice them up as much as I'm doing right now, because this is going to do a lot of the work for me. But, and actually, if anybody's seen some of my earlier cooking streams when I was actually live and doing stuff, I've used this before, using this attachment to make actual whipped cream. That's already smelling fantastic. that should work. A little full, looks like. But that's okay. It's doing what I want it to do. That's about good. So really, there you go. Tomatoes. Blades out. I'm going to throw it right in. Now you notice I really have not added any of my spices or anything yet into it yet. We're going to do that once we get all the liquid and the beans and everything together, so everything cooks all together. Okay, so stick you back together because this is going to go right here into the sink. So that when I wash them later, they're right there already. Okay, next, beans. Now I've mostly got pintos as well as black beans in here. All of these I had soaking. I would probably myself wanted to use a bit longer soak on my end, but it's still going to work out okay. So a couple little other kinds of beans in here. This is just a nice little medley I had already kind of lying around. Let's go ahead and get it right in there. Now, like I said, you could use a tomato soup in there as part of it. That will kind of give it a bit of a liquid. We're doing things a little bit different. Go ahead and turn this up a little bit. Vegetable broth. I'm going to actually use the whole thing. We are going to add some water to it as well. This is about 32 ounces, 2 pounds, 907 grams of vegetable broth. You can make your own, which again, once you have like a compost or something like that, if I'm going through a lot more veggies in the camper, I would probably set one up and make my own broth. But this is the quick and easy way. So that's what we're doing. All right. The next part of what we're doing here, I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, but then I'm going to do something else. Now, this is something that, depending on how thin or thick you want it. Now, I'm adding water, but then I'm going to thicken it up. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want more substance to it. I don't want it to reduce too much. I will show y'all pretty much what we're dealing with. we're gonna move that up front in a minute, but for now we're gonna leave that there because I want this to get a little thicker, almost stew-like in a way. So what we're going to do is we're making basically a roux. You don't need much. You just want to get a little water. It's a bit much. So we're going to get rid of some of it. Yeah, that'll be fine. It's just going to be a little bit, making basically a little flour slurry, as you call it. Or not. We're not using that. Apologies for that. I didn't actually check my flour. A lot of things kind of got messed around in transit when I was moving. So that is not flour. Apparently I do not have flour. Thought I did. But that's okay. We actually don't need to do this. That was just kind of a thought I had, but heck it. We'll just do this. And this will work fine. So anyway, the idea at that point, you would add a little flour, you mix it into the water, it kind of makes it a little thick. It's basically a thickening agent, a roux. You add it in there, it kind of makes it kind of more of a thick and chunky. But we're going to cook this down just enough anyway. So let's go ahead and add the rest of the things that we're going to add. That's going to be more of a last minute thing, so let's see. How about... let's get some rosemary in there. Let's get some thyme in there. I like rosemary and thyme. I don't know about y'all. And what else? I want to use that one? No. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. I do have another way of doing roux. So we will do that. Let's get you back on. The other way you can do roux, you can do it with cornstarch instead of using flour. It's a different kind of making it, but it works just as well. Just doing about 2.5 little spoonfuls. Okay. And get some oregano back in the soup too, because I meant to put that in there first. You go there. And I think we're about set with that. You know what, though? Whoop. Let's not drop that. I'm actually going to add a little bit of cumin seed. Not the same thing as ground cumin. A little bit different kind of flavor. And of course, as always, you want to make sure you get your salt and pepper. All right, now with roux, you got to make sure you got to do it pretty quick. can't let it go too far because it will scorch, but just make sure it's all stirred. Straight in. All right. We're not done here yet. But you know, we're camper cooking. We gotta make space. Got a minute. Okay, now we've got the roux in there. We got pepper. We got spices. Got some salt. And I'm actually going to add a little touch of Worcestershire sauce. You know, the sauce nobody can pronounce correct. I actually add a little bit of this to whenever I make cocktail sauce from scratch, which is a pretty simple thing. You take basically, ketchup, some kind of tomato sauce type thing, a little bit of horseradish, and like a squeeze of lemon. I like putting a little bit of Worcestershire in it. It actually helps the flavor out quite a lot. Of course, a little bit of salt and pepper always helps too. Okay. Well, now we're at the stage where now everything has to cook. So we're going to set this up. I've got it on about a medium high, and this is going to be about like a 45-minute to 50-minute cook time. So I will go ahead and stop the video here. We'll come back to part two as I finish it up and pour you a portion so you can see what it looks like. So thanks again for being here, and I hope to see y'all again very shortly. And thanks for hanging out with me in the campground. See you soon.